Okay, so this is not a political video. I want to just start off saying that. Some people that I know sent me this video clip that we're watching right now of Joe Biden walking out of the White House and asked what my expert opinion on it was as a video person, as a filmmaker, as somebody who's familiar with the tools of the trade. And it is a very weird video. It looks like he's being green screened in. It looks like the microphones are being green screened in. So I've just got it here, right here, real quick for context. After seeing it, I made 2 videos just to send to a friend of mine where I was explaining why it was weird. And then once I figured out what was really going on, I made another video. So that's what you're going to see here is 2 videos. First, me freaking out and being completely baffled by this whole thing, and then something that I made at 3 o'clock in the morning when I realized what was actually going on. If you just want to see the explanation of what's really going on, skip to this time code right here. Okay, man. Okay, so here's the first Twitter video, which as soon as I saw it, I thought this could all just be a video anomaly. And then when I watched the actual video, all of this makes no sense for very clear reasons. And it's even weirder when he walks away and the microphone follows better than all the other microphones and then disappears. And everybody else who has a mic is like, they're all still dealing with their microphones. So that's weird. And then here's a higher quality video where the microphones look like they clearly have green screen anomalies on them. Just look at them. And then he comes in and he manifests over top of them. Okay. And then that video ends there. But then check this out. Here's another angle. He's walking up to the press. He raises his hands. And there's no microphones there. And then it just cuts to this angle. And that thing is below his hand. Now that little shuffle right there would have to be it going from behind this guy's head to right here in that minor little shuffle. Whoosh, along with this other mic that is also under his hand here. Nope, that doesn't make sense. Okay. We'll keep moving along here. We got another one. This is C-SPAN's version, which has a big blue bar over the entire anomaly until it goes away, which is a coincidence. I checked other videos. They always have that blue bar up for this same amount of time on all their videos, so that's just a coincidence. But this is a higher quality video. And in watching this, you can see that this microphone passes over the other microphones and then disappears, and everybody else has to scramble to get out from under a rope, while that microphone just seems to have just vanished and isn't there anymore. But what's really weird is that was all really lazy, but if that was a special effect, then it was all really lazy. But right here, like, oh god, if he went behind the mic there, if he went in front of the mic there, that would be a big problem. But he doesn't. He just goes up against it. But here's the thing. The motion blur for each frame makes perfect sense when it's panning across here. See, it's moving with the camera at the same speed, then it drops a little bit behind the camera's movement, and it gets motion blur. And then it's moving with the camera again, and then as it moves out of frame, the motion blur returns. All the motion blur and all the movement is what it should be, it just looks weird. So it looks weird, but there's nothing actually wrong with that, especially if you notice that these two microphones down here in the corner, when it pulls out, you can see those microphones are not, they're like really far away. Look how far out they are from where this camera is positioned. So it makes sense that it would move differently and weirdly in front of these if it was a lot closer to the camera, but smaller. So that could be a really small microphone. They make those really small. I have one that's like the size of my thumb. But that doesn't make sense because he's reaching over it here, and it's clearly bigger than a man's hand. So I don't know. But this is the worst part of the whole thing. Is right here as the camera pans back. There's the fluffy white microphone. Why? There's no reason, if you were faking this, that you would put the fluffy white microphone in there. There it is. Whoop! Still where it should be, still getting worked out, making perfect sense with the rest of the video. The only thing that would explain how well done and how sloppy this is if this microphone and this microphone, these two right here, were shot on a green screen, mimicking all these movements, and then for no reason they cut out Joe Biden and masked his hands, which makes no sense because you wouldn't do that for this moment here. You would just keep the microphones in front of him. So I have no idea what's going on because it's completely inconsistent for any theory that that's fake or that it's real. It doesn't make sense. That's the end of they're making the frogs gay! Alright, here we go. So, I have this other angle. And then we have the weird shit happening with the microphones. Making no sense. Okay. So, here's... I believe I got these videos pretty well synced up. There's the two videos overlapping. So they're pretty well synced up. Maybe I'm off by a frame, but okay, check it out. Here he is, walking from this angle, and he lifts his hands up like a creepy old man. And then there's a microphone under his hand, and there's the other one, and they're both already there, and then pop up into existence, seemingly behind his masked out hands. Okay. So here's the thing. This is what makes it all weird. This shot is really tight on him. And as it pulls out, right there, you can see he has a microphone, like, palmed up in his hand. And then from this angle, like I said, I'm off by a frame or two, it's like right there. It's like right up by his hand. And look right here. You see that microphone? And watch this little weird green one. It brushes up against him, and it hits his jacket, and you can see his jacket moving as that microphone bumps into him. Here's what's happening. These two microphones, the two offending weird microphones, are behind him. They're laying close to the ground, out of frame, and they're way, way stuck out because they don't know how close he's going to come because he's Mr. Social Distancing, and he just ran right up on him, and this guy with the white microphone is struggling to get that microphone in front of him. He's pulling it back, and it looks all weird because it's bigger than his hands, and this guy right here is doing the same thing. He's fucking, this dumb old man doesn't notice that there's multiple microphones laying on the ground in front of him, and he's just bumping into this one, and this guy's trying to get it up in front of him, and then that's why everything after that just makes perfect sense, because that microphone was low to the ground and sticking out really far, and the guy had to pull it back really quick, and that's also why it doesn't seem to, like, change size, because it's the lens. You see when he walks away, the camera, like, zooms out when he walks away. And see, all the microphones are really small now. That means the camera had a long lens on it, which means that things that are far away from the camera will look basically the same size as they would if they're up close. So, that's all it is. It's the microphones are just long and behind him, and they just came up and tried to get him in front of him while he's doing that. And I think the best confirmation for this is the fact that when he walks up here, this microphone is cupped up in his hand. And the white one is probably down over here somewhere, slowly being tracked in. Probably not even shortening the pole. It's probably just pulling the pole back and like having to hit people with it as he pulls it back. And then that's why it moves weird when he walks away, because it's got a log pole on it, and the other microphones are all being held pretty close to the people that are holding them. All makes sense. I'm okay.